We begin tonight with a new chapter for Buffalo's celebrated Allentown neighborhood. A pair of historic properties are now a major step closer to coming back to life. We're talking about the former sites of the old Pink and Mulligan's Brick Bar on Allen Street. The lots of the iconic bars have sat empty after both were ravaged by fire just 6 months apart, leaving a true void inside the Allentown community. But now a new owner has emerged for both properties. The sites recently sold to Buffalo attorney and real estate developer Kyle Roche. Joining us in studio tonight, the real estate agent who worked closely on the sale of both of these properties, Carmelo Parlato with Gurney, Becker and Bourne. Thanks for being here tonight, Carmelo.
Thank you, Jeff.
You know, there's been so much community interest in the future of both of these sites. So many people have memories, of course, of the old Pink and Mulligan's Brick Bar. You represented Roche Development as the buyer, also the seller of the Brick Bar. What can you tell us about the process here, Carmelo?
So there are some things in play before he can really continue to make plans on what he wants to build. And one of those things is the city lot, the parking lot that's in the middle of the two lots. So they're in talks right now with the city, with some city officials about that. And then, of course, we're going to get into renderings and what works, and then there's green code, and you know, it's a historical preservation district, so that's a factor as well.
Yeah, no question. How did this sale come about? I mean, I know you had been working on it for quite a bit. One property was in place, and then the other. How did this all come about, this process?
So I had Brick Bar listed back when it was actually a building on the lot, and then it burned down. And of course, the owner of Brick Bar was in contact with the owner of the Pink, and the Pink process took a little longer, but they both expressed interest in selling. So once I found a buyer that was interested in the Brick Bar lot, I just proposed the Pink lot as well. And then there was the lot in the middle, so that was kind of speculative. But we were able to start a conversation about that as well with the city of Buffalo, so Kyle went for it.
I know future plans are still in the works, as you mentioned, but what can you tell us, I guess, about the overall vision for Roche Development there? I know when I talked to Kyle for those properties, he made it pretty clear that community input would be important for whatever is developed there.
Of course, yeah. So the idea is to serve the existing community that's there. I think another idea is to bring people from the suburbs back into Buffalo and to make Allentown fun again. And you know, to have maybe something with a recreational aspect, something that you can go on a date to, but also go with your family and kids as well. So, you know, a lot of things are going to affect the turnout, like I said, you know, all the building factors of what that kind of thing could be, but the idea is community first. Yeah,
that lot you mentioned that you touched on, what's the next step for that? I know you're involved in that process with the city.
That's a good question. I think the city, I could be wrong, but I think the city is going to want to see some renderings or some plans of a proposed plan of what would go there.
And we'll keep you updated on that. Now, these recent sales, really a significant development for the community, for the Allentown neighborhood. But you've been involved in several recent sales within that neighborhood. There's almost like a transition in terms of real estate happening. Get us up to date with where things stand.
Yeah, so one thing is at the corner of Park and Allen, at 162 Allen, the former Owl Eyes Cafe is now going to be Delfonso's Italian Imports. Currently, he's operating on Rhode Island Street, and he has a nice little shop there, but this new location will give him an opportunity to have more prepared foods. He has a hood, so he'll be able to cook more and serve more variety of products. 149 Allen, which was formerly the Savoy building, where Savoy, the bar and restaurant, was, they moved on to Ellicott Street into a bigger space, and the owner of that building sold the building to these new owners, and they're right around the corner from their grand opening, so that'll be great. And currently then I have 245 Allen for sale, which is the hardware building, and then next door to that is 249 Allen. That's just kind of a shell of a building, one-story shell. And then 253 Allen is for sale with Mike Militello of Militello Real Estate. So there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of changes, and we're just trying to keep the momentum moving forward.
Oh, thanks for keeping us updated. A lot of eyes on this ever since those two buildings have changed hands, and we appreciate you being here. Carmelo Parlato with Gurney, Becker and Bourne, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.